I'm glad that the wheels of justice are finally turning when it comes to Mr. Assange. I've never been a fan. I think what he did was despicable and dangerous.
I'm glad he was arrested. I think hacking, stealing classified secrets, releasing them in a way that endangers the safety and security of American soldiers.
I think Julian Assange has to face justice here. The extradition ought to be pursued quickly and effectively. The American people have a right to see him in court facing charges.
Put a sock in it. All right, senators from both parties applauding the indictment of WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, who was taken into custody in London yesterday. The U.S. charging Assange with conspiring to hack into a government computer to help release a trove of classified documents. But some are also defending Assange, including Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Watch.
The specific charges that were raised for his extradition were even ones that the Obama administration entertained but turned down because it was seen as kind of beyond the pale in terms of an attack on journalism and journalists. And so I'm concerned by that specific aspect, very much so in this situation.
She's sort of the Elle Woods of Congress. All right. The American Civil Liberties Union also coming to Assange's defense, warning, quote, criminally prosecuting a publisher for the publication of truthful information would be a first in American history and unconstitutional. While there is no First Amendment right to crack a government password, this indictment characterizes as part of a criminal conspiracy the routine and protected activities journalists often engage in as part of their daily jobs. So, Ed, there are a lot of issues at play here, but the First Amendment shield that will be afforded to Julian Assange, I think, will be quite powerful. And you will see many, many powerful lawyers rush to his defense because of the greater ramifications of prosecution if they don't find the hacking.
First Amendment is paramount. And as a journalist, I want to see the free flow of information. And government officials of either party worried about bad information and accountability coming out, too bad. But this is different. This is not someone who's an actual publisher, number one. There's questions about whether he's really a journalist. But most importantly, he was involved in cracking a government password to hack in and get, originally, way before the Russia questions, about Iraq and Afghanistan and the war. He was a participant in stealing government information.
Well, there are those who say that is yet to be proven, and again, he was encouraging a source to be more forthcoming and to give him more information.
And I've certainly done that as a journalist. You encourage people to leak it, but you don't break into the government to get the documents.
But they really have to prove that one, though, because that is the crux of the prosecution.
We're quite clear that if that is proven, as Kennedy says so rightly, that is not protected under the First Amendment. Are we as clear, if it's easily proven, that there was conversation about that encouragement of going and doing whatever is necessary, all means to that end, and cracking and hacking and all of that kind of thing? Is there as bright a line for journalists or those who think that they are journalists to be protected under the First Amendment?
Yeah, here's the difference. We can't break the law. It's that simple.
And we can't encourage anybody else to break the law.
No, we're supposed to be about exposing people who aren't upholding the law, telling stories, whatever. But it's not about breaking the law ever. I mean, that's the first thing that we learn, is what you can and can't do, where you can go, what buildings are you allowed to enter, when are you not to, what are your rights as a journalist.
Okay, so what about the Pentagon Papers? Do you think that those should have been published?
Yes.
There's a difference between
publishing something that you received
Daniel Ellsberg
from an outside source.
Stole that information and he had other people conspirators who were helping him retrieve that information.
The New York Times didn't steal them.
No, the New York Times didn't.
And they didn't encourage the stealing of them.
Ruled in their favor.
But again, I mean, I may be going too far with that. That was my question. I mean, I see it as the same. I think that if you encourage somebody to do something that you know is law-breaking, that is no longer protected by the First Amendment. But that's my interpretation.
If someone at the Justice Department came to me today and said, you know what, Bill Barr is lying about what's going on with the Mueller report, and I have a copy, I trust you, I'm going to give it to you. Bill Barr wouldn't be happy with me and Fox News, but if we felt like the truth needed to be told and that there was information in there, we could release it.
What if
but
you
if he
know
said,
that
I have a key to Bill Barr's office,
right,
and the report's in his safe, Ed,
right,
come with me and you could steal the report.
But there's a big difference between you on the phone going, seriously, get me that information. We need to see this.
No, that's encouraging it.
And this is America, and we can handle that level of transparency.
But I can't break into Bill Barr's office.
And accountability.
I can't hack into his computer.
But that's what it rests on. Now,
I see those two things
Julian
as the same
Assange's
thing.
defenders are saying, and I understand that this is one of the very few areas of bipartisan agreement in Washington, that a lot of senators hate Julian Assange, but there are people who defend him who say, in this case, he's the New York Times, he's the Washington Post, and Chelsea Manning is Daniel Ellsberg.
Right. Well, I think I'm glad that you have that perspective, because it does make a very fair debate. But what has not been mentioned in this discussion is what that leaked information did for national security and our American soldiers, and it put them at severe risk. And our allies in Iraq and Afghanistan, Al-Qaeda was potentially combing through these documents looking for information and taken classified information, I agree with you here, from a government computer and leaking it. That's not journalism. That's not any sort of journalism.
But the difference, too, I just want to get this in here real quickly. When we are handed something and we know about that material and its sourcing as much as we can know, it is our responsibility as journalists then to work with our news managers and leadership to determine what should be released. And oftentimes we will reach out and ask specific classified information, you know, what harm can be done, because our job is to do no harm.
Yeah.
Right?
And there are,
when you are part surreptitiously of trying to get that information, whether you went and hacked for it yourself or you encouraged that person, you and I are in agreement on that, because that encouragement can sometimes sound like there might be something on the back end for you. Who knows? When you are part of the process, you remove that responsibility, that veil that allows you to see it so objectively, and you are more likely to publish classified information that can end up doing some of those things.
But in this day and age, and
but
seeing how much power is concentrated in the hands of so few, there are those who believe we need more whistleblowers and we need more transparency. How we get there, that's where we might diverge. But, you know, we will see.
Is he a whistleblower, or does he just want to take down the West?
I think it depends who you ask.
Well, but he may just want to take down the West.
Well, let's see what crimes were committed, if any, and then we can talk.
All right, very good.